Mrgrrr, you need to get a clue as to how much work is going to be involved with Project Godmaker. Aw, Ernie, are you snuggling Cthulhu? That's just adorable. Hey, I get lonely and have needs, Mr. Gurr. Ouch, fair enough. Mr. Gurr's, hey, Cthulhu, what do you think of my... Huh? Do I look good in green? Do I put the Gurr in green, Cthulhu? He's not a big fan of the macho poncho. It's cold here in the basement. Mr. Gurr is not a cold-blooded creature. Or is he? Where is she? But anyway, Mr. Gurr is down here getting a clue as to what's going on with Godmaker, and I don't care what they say, size does matter. We have a 3-inch figurine, the Yanti Giant. We have the standard 1-inch figurine. We got Batman, who's about 1.5 inches, and the poker chip, which is a little bit bigger. And we have my goofy, absolutely horrible Pringle can that's just a little bit over 3 inches in diameter. So my goal today was to grab a board game from the Mr. Gurr closet, open it up, and pull out a game board, like the Clue. We got this. How big is a game board in Clue? Well, the thing is, if I open the box, there's no game board in here, but there's like chapel, city, garden, event card. So there's a ruler in here too. The thing is, this has obviously been used before by Mr. Gurr to make a prototype of a board game. Mr. Gurr's been doing this since he's been like 5 or 6 years old. Some of the greatest memories of my childhood involve me making board games for my little brother and I to play because, well, we didn't have none of that. So we used our imagination to make the world a better place. What's better, imagination or that? That's a discussion for another time, but there's no board in here. So let's do the next best thing. Let's measure the box. So we got the box is about 10 inches across. So that means the board for Clue would be about a 20-inch by 20-inch square. Now I have this awesome cardstock, and this cardstock is exactly a foot across. So it is too big. It's too big for the box, but from what I can tell, I am going to have 10.5 inches to work with as far as my board game board goes. So this is about right at a 1/2 inch, and there we go. So my board game squares, where Batman, Snake Monsters, and Pringle cans are going to be duking it out for the next many months, are a little bit oversized, but that's okay. So the thing is, board games do not make themselves. And today, I spent a good portion of the day upstairs next to my wife in the warmth. It's very warm upstairs compared to here downstairs in the man cave. Whew, I'm going to put on my Machu Picchu poncho. Just for dramatic effect, because it's chilly down here. Yeah. It's easy for me to create lore for the game because it's a world that's in my head. It's easy. Making the nuts and bolts of the board game is not as fun as the creative process. So I'm going to be spending a lot more time down here in the man cave with Cthulu and Ernie doing the work that needs to be done. And if I work hard enough and get enough done, I think I'll feel no problem whatsoever running back up the stairs and celebrating with the warmth that my wife gives to me. Together, we're going to make a world full of heroes, a world full of monsters, and hopefully it makes the world that we all share a better place. That's a lofty goal. It's a lofty goal. But if you dedicate yourself to an ideal, no one can stop you. All right, Ernie and Cthulu have been my witness. I've been down here just working hard, making probably the most advanced board for a board game ever made in the history of history. Mrgrrr, that's a goddamn tic-tac-toe board, Mrgrrr. Wrong, Ernie. Wrong. This is something so much bigger and greater than a standard tic-tac-toe board. There's no X's. It's all O's. You need a grip, Mrgrrr. No. Mrgrrr knows what Mrgrrr is doing. So, yeah, this is a pretty simple example. Probably the simplest example of what a chunk of map could look like in Godmaker. My wife is just like, you can't put your ideas on the internet, man, because someone's going to steal them. And I'm like, well, if I get run over by a bus tomorrow, maybe someone will pick up the pieces and keep the Godmaker train rolling. You never know. Because, what's the goal? Is the goal to make a board game, to make a lot of money? No, that's not the goal for me. The goal for me is something else entirely different. My goal is to remove certain things from the world with my efforts to make the world a better place for my kids and my kids' kids. So, yeah. Mrgrrr wants to take care of some things before he leaves the mortal coil.